Now, 18 through 55 kit lenses can be a very confusing subject, especially for beginners, because there's a lot of information online, some saying that these are very good, useful tools that really will get the job done, and there's also going to be other people saying that kit lenses are a completely useless waste of time that you should never use. So if you are a beginner, it can be very confusing to tell whether or not the 18 through 55 kit lens is actually going to be useful to you. So for this video, I'm going to be showing off 4 things I like about 18 through 55 kit lenses and 4 things I don't like. Now for this particular video, I'm choosing things that apply to all of the last kit lenses that were released by Canon and Nikon over the last few years. So no matter which 18 through 55 you have, basically every single thing you'll see in this video is applicable. And I'm sure some of the stuff is even applicable to other companies aside from Canon and Nikon, but that's really where I'm focusing for now. So to start off, let's talk about the 4 things I don't like about 18 through 55 kit lenses. Now at number 4, it's the build quality. And basically every single 18 through 55 kit lens ever released has had horrid build quality. These are some of the cheapest, most plasticky lenses that have ever been released by their respective companies. And don't just take my word for it. Go look on eBay for all the as-is kit lenses being sold. These things just break so easily. So especially if this is the only lens you're going to have for a while, there's a very serious risk about it just not working anymore. And if it breaks, your camera's useless until you get another lens. Now number 3 is one that might not seem very immediately annoying, but it gets surprisingly annoying surprisingly quickly. And the thing is, with most regular zoom lenses, when the lens is zoomed all the way out, the front element is into the lens all the way. And when you zoom all the way in, the front element is all the way out. So when you're done shooting pictures, you just zoom out and the front element goes back in, and then you're done. You don't have to worry about the extended front element hitting anything. But on 18 through 55 lenses, it's not that simple. The front element is extended all the way when it's zoomed all the way out and zoomed all the way in. So in order for the front element to actually go back into the lens, you usually have to be somewhere around 28 millimeters. So you can't just blindly zoom out and be done. You have to consciously make sure it is in all the way, which really might not sound like much, but it gets very annoying very, very quickly. Now the number 2 thing I don't like about kit lenses is the distortion. Now distortion is when you take a picture of a flat surface, especially gridded things, and they appear to be bulging out from the center when in reality they really aren't. This is sometimes called a fisheye effect, but with kit lenses it's not dramatic or artistic like that. It really just looks really, really bad and honestly ruins tons and tons of pictures. Now I should point out that if you are using Nikon APS-C cameras actually have bigger sensors than Canon APS-C cameras, so the distortion is actually more pronounced on Nikon cameras. So although it's present on all cameras, it's even more of an issue on Nikon. And in some ways makes wide-angle photography really, really unenjoyable with these lenses. And the number 1 thing I don't like about 18 through 55 kit lenses is I think the zoom range personally is really, really awkward. Now, how I see it, 18 millimeters is too wide angle for general purpose photography, but not nearly wide angle enough for dramatic wide angle effect like fisheye or dramatic landscapes or anything like that. And of course, on the other hand, 55 millimeters is basically too telephoto for general purpose use. But on the other hand, it's not nearly telephoto enough for any sort of long-range photography like nature or event or anything like that. So what I find when I use an 18 through 55 kit lens, I basically have to stick somewhere in the middle of the zoom range the whole time if I want to have even a remotely enjoyable experience. So basically I feel like I'm stuck with a really bad 35 or 24 millimeter prime lens, because in order to get an even remotely enjoyable experience out of this lens, for me personally, I have to be in one of the mid-range focal lengths. So how I see it, you might as well just have a standard prime. Alright, those are some of the things I don't like about 18 through 55 kit lenses, but there are quite a few things I actually really do like, so let's move on to those now. Now number 4 is they're really cheap. They are really, really cheap. Generally, these only add about $80 to the price of your camera and can be found for even less used without a camera. These are very, very cheap lenses. So if you really don't need any sort of top-of-the-line glass when you're beginning as a photographer, this is actually a really, really good deal on a lens. Now the next thing I actually really like about kit lenses is they're light. They are very, very light. Now chances are if you're using an 18 through 55 kit lens, you're probably using a DSLR body that's on the smaller side. Now if you're used to using entry-level DSLRs, you'll know that if you tried to put any bigger glass on them, like a big telephoto lens, those sort of lenses really dwarf the camera. And having such a small, light lens on the camera, especially on smaller cameras, is very, very convenient and makes it a much more enjoyable experience to wear around your neck or just carry around all day. And that's actually a surprisingly big advantage. Now, the number two thing I really like about 18-55 kit lenses is they're really good for video. Now, not only do all the new ones basically have image stabilization, but even without the image stabilization, these generally give very smooth, steady video results. And even though I said that the focal range is very, very awkward for photography, and it really is, it's actually a pretty decent focal range for videography. And I actually find myself using 18-55 kit lenses pretty frequently for video. I'm actually shooting this video with an 18-55 kit lens, and it's doing a great job for me. It does everything I need for this sort of video. And the number one thing I like about 18-55 kit lenses is they generally have great macro performance for non-macro lenses. From what I can tell, just about every single 18-55 kit lens that Canon and Nikon have released over the last few years can focus all the way down to 25 centimeters, which might sound like a lot on paper, but that's way closer than almost any other lens. The ability to focus so closely is very, very fun, very useful, and very enjoyable, and I think there are tons of lenses that would have benefited heavily from this sort of close minimum focus distance, and for me, it's one of the things I like the most about the 18-55 kit lenses. So I hope this video helped you decide if the 18-55 kit lens is a good choice for you. If not, don't be afraid to buy a different lens with your camera body. Go body only and find a lens that's going to help you with what you need. If you're interested in something like videography, then maybe you'll want to stick with the 18-55 kit lens. It really is a very useful tool. But if still photography is going to be your priority, a standard zoom that doesn't go quite as wide but goes much more telephoto, say like this 28-105 or 24-70 or anything like that, might be a lot more useful for still photography. It's all about what you need, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.